All right, let's talk about a huge challenge for any new brand out there. You want to launch a sustainable skincare line on TikTok, and your target is the super crowded Southeast Asian market. In a world where everyone's a little skeptical, building trust isn't just nice to have, it's everything. So let's break down exactly how you do it. So our stage is set in places like Malaysia, Singapore, and the Philippines. And we're talking to some pretty savvy Gen Z and millennial shoppers. But here's the thing. The problem isn't just about competition. It's about deep skepticism. This audience can smell a fake a mile away, and they are so over greenwashing. When brands make these big, vague claims about being eco-friendly without any real proof.
And that really gets us to the core question of this entire playbook, doesn't it? When your potential customers already have their guards up, when they're actively looking for inauthentic marketing, how in the world do you cut through all that noise and build genuine trust right from day one?
To answer that, we first have to look at where most brands get it completely wrong. There's a really common and super costly mistake that a lot of new companies make right out of the gate, and it all boils down to their basic approach.
Okay, check this out, because the contrast here is huge. On the left, you see the typical playbook. Jump straight onto TikTok Shop, make a bunch of big promises, and just push for sales. That's the promise-first approach. It's basically asking for trust before you've done anything to earn it. But the winning strategy, over on the right, it flips that whole idea on its head. It's a proof-first approach, where you spend the first few months just earning trust, way before you even think about selling. It's a really fundamental shift in mindset.
So how do you actually do a proof-first launch? Well, the answer is a strategic framework that's built on three really powerful pillars. They're designed to methodically build that authentic connection with your audience.
And this quote just nails the core insight. The issue isn't that people don't care about sustainable products. They really, really do. But they are so tired of empty buzzwords. They reject vagueness. So the takeaway here is that being specific and showing tangible evidence, that's your most powerful tool for earning their trust. Now, this whole strategy is laid out over a 90-day timeline, using the classic AIDA model. You might be thinking, a classic model for a fast-moving platform like TikTok? Well, here's why it's so smart. It forces discipline. In a world that's all about instant results, this framework makes sure you're patient. You build awareness in month 1. Then you generate interest and desire in month 2. And only in month 3, once you've built that solid foundation, do you start driving for action. It's a journey, not a sprint.
And here are the 3 content pillars that are going to fuel that journey. First up, visible sustainability proof. We're talking showing, not just telling. Second, simplified skin science. You need to educate your audience about your ingredients and what they do, but in a way that's easy to get. And third, human storytelling. This is about sharing the founder's journey, the stories behind the ingredients, all to create a real emotional connection.
Now, here's the cool part. This whole strategy isn't based on some wild guess. It's built on a really deep understanding of consumer skepticism, and it uses 2 specific AI-powered research methods to turn those doubts directly into your content plan. The first method is what we call AI research, and it basically defines the visual rules of the game. It analyzes all the trends to figure out what authentic actually looks and feels like on TikTok. This isn't about some vague mission statement. It's about how you deliver real, tangible proof in like a 15-second video.
And this research leads to these super clear, actionable rules. 1. Show your sustainability. Don't just talk about it. 2. Create that emotional desire with stories about the founder and the ingredients. 3. Stay relevant by plugging into local trends, things like skinimalism or barrier repair. And 4. Work with influencers, but in a way that feels like a long-term partnership, not just some random one-off ad.
The second method is the AI interview. Now, this is where you really get inside the mind of the skeptic. This process models how consumers decide if a brand is the real deal or if it's just, performing for the camera. It translates their entire decision-making process into repeatable rules you can use to create your content. And what's so fascinating is that these trust signals are totally different depending on where you are. In Singapore, consumers are what you'd call skintellectuals. They want science-backed education. In Malaysia, trust is built through viral discovery and what's trending. And in the Philippines, it's all about community storytelling and this powerful cultural idea called hyang, which is this feeling of personal suitability, that a product is just right for you. This deep localization, it is absolutely critical. Okay, so we've got the timeline, we've got the content pillars, and we've got all these localized insights. So now let's see how this all comes together into one single cohesive 90-day plan.
So, the crucial point is this. The roadmap is a system. The when is that 3-month IDA timeline. The what is the actual content you're creating from your 3 pillars: sustainability, science, and story. And the how? Well, that's all dictated by those localized AI insights, making sure your message actually hits home in each specific market. It literally turns research into a clear, step-by-step plan.
This brings us to the final and honestly the most important takeaway from this entire playbook. It's a simple but really profound shift in your mindset that can make all the difference between success and failure on a platform like TikTok. The #1 rule is this: earn trust first. Before you ask for the sale, before you even mention your TikTok shop, you have to invest the time and the effort to prove your value, your authenticity, and your story. Trust is the currency on TikTok, and you've got to earn it before you can spend it.
So, as we wrap this up, I'll leave you with this one question to think about for your own work. Every brand has a story to tell, but are you taking the steps to actually prove that story to your audience? Or are you just promising it and hoping they'll believe you? The difference is everything.